is the Texas weather discussion video. This is the afternoon version for Friday, the 25th of May. I'm Donovan Neal. North Texas weather pretty much stays pretty muggy and very mild for the remainder of the day today. We do clear out to a great Memorial Day weekend as we progress through the weekend, but that won't be the case for areas to the east of us where they're dealing with a subtropical cyclone. They will be dealing with the subtropical cyclone this Memorial Day weekend. So let's take a look across the upper air look across the nation. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer all of your questions here. We do have a weakness in the ridge in some parts of central Texas, but otherwise, let's take a look at the satellite imagery off of GO 16. You can see we do have a field of showers and thunderstorms stretching all the way from Oklahoma down to North Texas. This is the radar. Earlier this afternoon, you can see we did have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Dallas and Ellis counties, but otherwise lots of lightning and lots of heavy rain off to areas to the east of Dallas. We do have an outflow boundary that has been lowering temperatures this afternoon and evening. And of course, rain-cooled air is affecting some places like Rockwall, Sherman, McKinney, and Bonham and Paris, where they're in the low 70s due to the rain-cooled air. But down here in the main metro, we're mostly in the 80s due to that outflow boundary pushing some cooler temperatures down here. Across the nation, much of the nation pretty much in the 80s and 90s, which is pretty much expected for late May. So let's take a look across the watch warning map. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of the upper Midwest near Wisconsin and Minnesota. But down here in the deep south, we do have some flash flood watches in effect for parts of the coast and parts of Florida and Georgia, where they're preparing for a subtropical cyclone to make landfall there. But let's take a look at convective outlooks for the rest of today into tomorrow. We do have a marginal risk for severe storms in effect for parts of most of the DFW metro area and much of north central Texas. But go up north, we do have that standard slight risk of severe storms in effect for parts of Wichita Falls and Childress and areas to the west of Oklahoma City. And keep in mind that this outlook basically runs until 7 a.m. the next day. And take a look for the convective outlooks for tomorrow. We do have a couple of marginal risks for severe storms in effect. And notice we're in the green, which means we have a risk for thunder, but no organized severe weather is expected. And on Sunday, we should stay dry for the most part. This is the average rainfall for the next 7 days, followed through Friday of next week. Obviously, heavier totals will remain off to our east due to the tropical storm, the subtropical storm that will be impacting that. And you can see most of the totals for parts of the southeastern United States will pretty much stay in the 2 to 7 inch range, with locally higher amounts near Mobile and Escambia counties and those places in Alabama. So let's take a look at our flooding threat. Of course, this is issued from the National Weather Service in Mobile and Pensacola. They're saying that they could see anywhere from around 4 to about a foot of rain for those areas in those coastal areas. And keep in mind that those areas could also see some rip currents and some rip tides due to some winds there. So let's take a look at subtropical storm Alberto. You can see that maximum sustained winds are obviously around 40 miles an hour at this point. This is expected to become a tropical storm within the next 24 or the next 12 hours or so. And of course, this will pretty much make landfall at around 7 a.m. on Monday, and by that time, it won't really move much. It will basically stay a tropical storm and basically stay a tropical depression when it reaches Mississippi. But let's take a look at some model guidance here. Subtropical storm Alberto. You can see most of the models basically take it in the southeastern United States. So really parts of Mississippi and much of Alabama is under the gun for some flooding risk and maybe some wind as well. But keep in mind that the main threat with this tropical storm is mostly heavy rainfall here. So this is the GFS ensemble. The main thing we want to look at is the mean, and of course, which is the black line. And the mean basically is on par with the National Hurricane Center's official cone forecast. And so let's go on to the model output. Get specific here. This is GFS. This is the 06Z run. No, this is the 12Z run, valid tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock at 500 millibars, around 18 to 20,000 feet off the ground. We have a trough to our west, and we have that low in our Gulf. And down here, I do think for now we should stay dry, with highs in the mid 90s. But during the overnight hours, we could see a complex of showers and thunderstorms try to move in here during the overnight hours. Some of those storms could be severe, maybe some gusty winds and hail, but we stay dry for the most part. The best chance of any one spot getting wet during the afternoon and evening hours is in the 20 to 30% bracket. And then we go through the weekend as Tropical Storm Alberto approaches the Gulf Coast. We pretty much stay dry with mostly sunny conditions. Highs should be in the mid 90s, and same thing on Sunday. And let's go out to Monday of next week. Pretty much Alberto is making landfall in somewhere in Mississippi and Alabama. But down here in North Texas, we stay dry. Highs in the mid 90s, mid to upper 90s. And same thing on Tuesday. Alberto is pretty much deep in the heart of Alabama. Now let's go out to Wednesday. This is Wednesday of next week. Wednesday we pretty much stay dry, but we do note that a heat bubble area of high pressure will form in our area, which will mean potential triple-digit heat in our area. Wednesday, May the 30th, could be our first day of seeing 100-degree weather for DFW, and that is of course very early for this time of the year. Highs should be in the upper 90s to maybe even in the lower triple digits. And here's a week from today, Friday, the first day of June. You can see that 594 heat ring start to take shape here. And down here, we pretty much stay dry with highs basically in the low 100s. Wow, I'm pretty much saying it. Highs in the low 100s. Here's the end of the 10-day forecast period. This is Monday, the 4th of June. You can see we still have that heat ring here, and down here, we pretty much stay dry, with highs pretty much in the triple digits. But let's take a look at the total precipitation coming off of the European for the Gulf coastal states. You can see the maximum input is around basically around a foot of rain for parts of the Florida Panhandle, but most areas should stay around the 3 to 7 inch range, which higher amounts the closer you are to the Florida coast. But you can see from the numbers for the next 15 days from the GFS ensemble, I do think that these numbers are pretty much inaccurate by a couple of degrees. So let's look at the European ensemble. You can see it does clearly illustrate that the potential for some triple digit heat for as we head into the early days of June and the early days of meteorological spring. Highs mostly in the upper 90s for now, but highs will of course increase to the triple digits as we progress through the start of hurricane season. That's it for the Texas weather discussion video for today. I'll have more notes in the blog. My next video here should be posted at around 4 p.m. Saturday morning, 4 p.m. Monday morning, I'm sorry. Jonathan Williams, the guy who plays Euphonium, should have the blog updates covered tomorrow morning and throughout the weekend. If you can, catch your local TV stations on the air at 4, 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great day and a great weekend, and Godspeed.